And we're live. Well, hello, everybody. Hello. Happy Saturday. Happy Meal Prep Saturday.
Yes.
Um, Jen and I are here to show you guys how simple meal prep can be. But we're going to give it a few minutes, let you guys get on so we can talk a little bit more about how easy meal prep really can be. I think a lot of times we get into our heads, we overcomplicate things when the reality is there's really three simple steps to it. And that's really what we want to share with you today. Hey guys, I see we have a few viewers in here. So as you're popping in, we want to be able to communicate with you. We love interaction. So hashtag I am here. Let us know you're here. Share your name. We'll be watching the comments to ask any questions. But again, guys, if you're joining, what we're doing today is showing you guys how easy meal prep really can be, giving you some ideas. And that if you're a client with us, if you're in our app, you're in one of our one-on-one programs, we're going to share with you how easy taking your actual custom meal planning, meal prepping it will be. If you're new in the Facebook group and you're checking this out and you want to see what we're all about, we're going to talk about how simple meal prep can be for you, even without a meal plan. Honestly, you can use what we give you here and be able to start getting super consistent with your nutrition. So that being said, Jen's busy in the kitchen meal prepping. I'm making some coffee. And while
Good
I make iced
morning.
coffee, I thought I'd let Jen jump in for a little bit and just kind of talk to you. So, if you guys don't know Jen Dittman, Coach Jen, her journey is pretty awesome. So, she started with us at Aesthetic Freedom. God, I think it's at least a year, if not over a year ago. And she's seen some, and you guys have all watched her. I know you've been peeping on this girl because she's fire. And, she's made some huge changes. And these are changes that she will tell you herself she really didn't believe was truthful for her. And, along that came with these non negotiables. Part of it is meal prep. And just so you understand how she got these fantastic results was through consistency. But she's a busy woman. She's got two kids. She holds down a job. And so she's meal prepping, not just for herself, but for her family. And the woman, has got ninja tricks when it comes to doing it. So I guess I gave you a hell of a fucking intro, girl. So let's hear from you and how did you what do you do? As I know it takes you very little time to meal prep, and you're meal prepping for an entire family. And yeah, we just want to tap into some of your ninja tricks and how you use them to get these fantastic results that you have.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Jules.
You're welcome.
Yes, I am a busy woman. And like you said, I have a full time job and I have two young kids and a husband who does not cook. So I do all the cooking and I keep it super simple and basic. I have my meats, I have my veggies, and I have my carbs. And I just bulk prep everything. And sometimes I even bulk prep for like 2 weeks at a time. And then I portion it out and stick it in the freezer or stick it in the fridge, and we are ready to go. So, like, I keep it super simple. And it's just made my life so much easier during the week. And it gives me time to take the guessing out of what's going to be for dinner at night, and it's all ready to go, so that way I can go take my kids to whatever after school activities they got going on. I can hit the gym and know that I've got my food, I'm fueled, ready to go. And so that's
Yeah.
that's what I've been able to do to create more time to spend and focus on the things that matter during our busy week. So
So, like, I just want to repeat what I heard you say because, like, honestly, you're really saying that, breaking it down and keeping it simple. So, first off, Jen talked about the reason why. So, if you're in the tribe, you're starting to understand. So, you're in one-on-one programming with us, you're starting to understand the awesomeness of just having the structure of nutrition. And guys, if you're just tuning in, what Jen is talking about is taking and having this plan, knowing that you have food in the refrigerator, knowing that everything is available, it actually will save you time because you're not scrambling around at night or during the day to find meals for either you or your family. So, number one,
Right.
that's what she means when she's saying buying back her time or creating space for the other things she wants in her life. The other thing that she talked about is bulk prepping. So what she means and what she's showing you today is how she creates, as she said, her proteins, her carbohydrates, and her vegetables. Because let's face it, if that's sitting in your refrigerator, you're going to be more likely to create and customize meals for you and your family versus if you don't have and you're not ready. And the other thing, I'm going to let Jen talk more, but the number one thing, and I know Jen, you and I were talking about this earlier, that we all find that is missing in the nutrition plan of a busy woman, is protein. And when you and I were talking about this, we brainstormed and was like, well, yeah, protein is usually the one that we miss so much, not just because we don't have an understanding of what it is, but it's not an easy access. What's easy access in the refrigerator is some string cheese or some deli meat, or I'm going to grab a yogurt or easy things, and none of them are protein.
Right. And it doesn't sustain you or fill you or fuel you, the way that, that the protein will.
And so, guys, the aha and what you should take, if nothing here, is Jen's bulk prepping her protein. So imagine if you're new and you're trying to get started with a program. And again, if you're with our one-on-one coaching, guys, you got your meal plan, you're set, and really what you're going to get from this is just learning how to build those meals out. But guys, if you're new and watching and you don't have a meal plan to follow, this is like bulk prepping your protein and having it available is what's going to allow you to restructure meals, guys, because as we established, it's not normally in your refrigerator. The fats and the carbs are, and that's where
Right.
you wind up eating things that are not of a good balance of macronutrients. And I'm talking a lot, Jen, so I'm going to let you talk more about like what goes into this. Like, how do you manage to cook 3 or 4 proteins, a couple of different carbs and vegetables in like an hour for your entire family?
Yes. So I usually do it in stages because it just makes my life easier. I hate shopping on Saturdays and Sundays. My husband's off on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And so and you know how crazy busy it is like during the weekends, out and about and stuff like that. So either I'll go early in the morning if I'm going by myself, but lately what we've been talking about is, my light just came off. We've been talking about delegating responsibilities. And so my husband doesn't cook. So I'm like, you need to go grocery shopping with me on your days off, which are Wednesday or Thursday. So like, those are our days where we go grocery shopping, or if by some chance, like on Friday, if we don't get to it, then we go Friday. Because then it's like so much easier to go to the grocery store when it's not as busy. And so then that way, I get whatever we need and my husband helps me with that. And we can come home and, wash the vegetables, have the vegetables washed, ready to go, have the meats all ready to go. And then what I usually do is like Friday night, I'll marinate my meats. So last night I marinated my meats because I'm all about flavor. If it's, it has to taste good in order for me to eat it. And so learning this new lifestyle, you know, like if you're in the program with us, you're just kind of given just a bland, generic white chicken breast, you know, white rice, raw vegetables. And we're like, do we have to eat it raw? No, you don't have to eat it raw. You cook it however you want it and you season it however you want it. So here's where I was like, okay, I'm going to, you know, because I like flavor. I like to cook. I like food. I like tasting variety. And so here I'm going to go to town. I'm going to try different things. And so Friday night is usually when I marinate my meat. So I get like a big old thing of chicken breasts in a big old package. And I've got one thing of chicken breast marinating. I think I got some barbecue sauce, some Montreal steak seasoning, garlic, onion powder. I mean, I use a variety of different seasonings, as you can see right here.
That barbecue sauce is sugar-free, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. GU's is one of my favorites.
I love them.
Walden Farms is another one that I use. So, and then all the seasonings, like pretty much all the seasonings, you know, they, unless they're like ones that are, you know, ones that are combined, you just have to really be careful and look at the back to make sure, you know, they don't have any extra carbs or sugars or anything like that. The Kinders, some of them will. So you just have to read the package. You just have to learn how to read the labels in the packages. But
you know,
so this is my barbecue one.
Yeah, I love that.
And
you got more?
I usually do 3 different ones. This is my sesame teriyaki marinade, and I added like ginger powder, garlic and onion go into like pretty much everything, pepper, Himalayan salt. So there's my Asian one, my barbecue one, and then this one is just a basic chicken with some herbs and garlic and onion powder. And this one is actually going to go in the crock pot. Crock pot is one of my go-tos for cooking chicken, like shredded chicken. And for like my boys, because I like to make it super simple. And they like tacos, but so instead of tortillas, like sometimes we'll do tortillas, but like I'll do like a rice enchilada chicken bowl or something like that. So I'll just add some enchilada sauce and some green chilies. And this is just going to throw in the crock pot and just be ready by the end of the evening. And they can even have that as, you know, for dinner tonight. So that's what I'm going to start with that. But everything's marinated, ready to go.
So I got to just repeat this brilliance that I heard you say. So guys, if you're just tuning in, feel free to hashtag I am here and let us know you're here. You got questions, drop them in the comments. We can see them. But what I want to just revisit is, so Jen, you know, is talking about how she's meal prepping. And a couple of the things that I picked up on that I don't know if you guys did is she doesn't like pick Saturday as her meal prep day and go all in and do everything on one day, which is actually quite brilliant. So she's talking about how she's delegated and has her husband help her with the grocery shopping, but that's early, like midweek. So she plans a grocery trip, say midweek. And now Friday, which happens to be and the other thing that I heard is when she does this grocery shopping, that's when her husband, she's requested help, you know, and he prepped the vegetables, the fruits, so everything's ready to go. And then today she's marinating, or last night she marinated her proteins.
Yep.
So like, guys, take from this. Like, the thing that I look at is this is all process. Grocery shop and prep the vegetables and all the food. Then Friday, do all the marinating of my proteins. And then Saturday, she then starts the meal prep. So that's huge, guys. I can see how that's actually saving her time over the long run. The other ninja trick that I'm not sure you picked up on that I heard is she's got chicken on her meal plan. I'm guarantee you I write it, so she's got a couple other proteins on there too. But we hear all the time, I hear you guys saying, well, meal prep is boring. Not just hard, boring. She just took chicken and marinated it 3 different ways. So this isn't just for her, but for her family. She's got 3 different flavors
Yep.
all ready to start with. And I think one of her other things she's about to tell you is how she gets it done so fast, and she cooks the chicken 3 different ways. She talked to you about the crock pot. I'm going to guess she's going to be using a couple other tricks up her sleeve. And so now she's multitasking. Am I right, Jen?
Absolutely. Yep. That's it. I've got I love everything smoked. I requested a smoker for Mother's Day a couple of years ago,
Ooh.
and it's been like the best thing ever. Like I smoke everything, and I literally like perfectly safe, guys. I literally cook everything on one day, and it's available for me the entire week. Now, granted, I do put some things in the freezer so that way it stays fresher longer, but I've been doing this for a year and a half now, and I've literally eaten my meats that have been in the refrigerator. As long as you take care of it right, you go from cooking to cooling, and then right immediately in the refrigerator, like it will last a week. It's perfectly fine.
I loved what you said about freezing too. Like, I know some people have that phobia of, we can tell them all day long that it's healthy in there, but, they get nervous about keeping meats. And I understand that. But, like, yeah, that's another trick, guys. So you can still do what Jen's talking about, cook everything, but, you can add it to the freezer and then take it out and defrost it as you're going through the week. I love that.
Yep. So I have my chicken going in there in the crock pot. I put my enchilada sauce. I put my green chilies in there. So that's cooking, ready to go. I've got my smoker on, and I'm going to throw these bad boys on the Barbie. I've got my other fun kitchen tool, which is the air fryer.
Oh.
A lot of people, will throw their meats in the air fryer. Like when I had salmon on my meal plan, I would do salmon burgers and just throw it in the air fryer, and they're like ready to go, super easy.
This.
I do my sweet potatoes in there. So yeah, you got to have the right kitchen tools. The other kitchen tool that I have, because this is good for my carbohydrates, is my rice cooker. So I literally I have my crock pot going. I throw some stuff on my smoker. I've got my rice cooker going. And then I've got my stove where I'm going to start cooking my vegetables. So literally I've got everything going on at once. I set my timers and it is good to go.
So guys, I love this. I want to revisit a little bit of what she's talking about as she's getting all her food prep. So again, hear what she's saying. She's got 3 different types of chicken going on, or 3 different proteins. And guys, you don't always have to do chicken. So, if you're tuning in, this is a way of cooking all the food that's on the actual menu or meal plan that we give you. If you're tuning in and you're just like, how the F do I make the, meal prep easy, and what do I do? What she's doing, guys, is you could do chicken, ground turkey, any kind of lean meat you wanted, even fishes. So again, those of you that are new, have a couple of different proteins. She talked about salmon, meal prepped out. If you guys are on a meal plan, meal prep the meats that are on your meal plan. But what she's saying is she's creating these proteins, and in her case, it's all 3 of them are chicken right now. 3 different ways. She's got 3 different kitchen tools going at the same time. And I used to do the same thing. I would have my stovetop going, something would be in the oven, something would be on the grill, and I'd have it in my air fryer, and everything's happening at one time. That's how you get it done. And then the rice is in the cooker versus one thing at a time. And Jen, this didn't come to you right away. This got easier as you put in the reps, right? You built that muscle, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Well, kitchen muscle.
That's exactly it. Is that, I just learned how to create these little pockets, these stages of my meal prepping to make it easier. Cause I used to be doing it like all on Sunday, and I would be doing it until like 8, 9 o'clock at night. And that was not very productive, to my schedule. And so then I started like piecing it out, chunking it out. And that's what made it so much easier. And then also like, I'm like, I've got all these tools. I could just use them in different ways. So, yeah. So it just makes it so much easier when I could just do everything all at once in a couple hours. And then once everything cools, then I like put them in my containers and I'm ready to go.
I love that. I love that, guys. She talks about time chunking. And again, I think as women, we always try to eat the elephant in the room in one bite. And really what she's saying is she just took that elephant and she's, eating it in bite-sized pieces throughout the week, which really makes, all the sense in the world. So if you're talking about meal prep and making things easy, I'm actually eating right now my post-workout. And it could also be somebody's breakfast, but I often will do what I call overnight oats. And I'll show you in a minute what overnight oats are, but I have my post-workout meal. So I just got done with it before this call is protein powder and oatmeal. Sometimes, you may have that actually isn't a bad breakfast. And it's a breakfast that we often put on our meal plans. But what I did is I created the overnight oats, and then I just stirred in my salted protein, protein powder into here. And that's currently what I'm eating right now. You could also do this by cooking it, but I create overnight oats. So that's what I'm eating right now, guys. How you do so then the overnight oats, I just keep them in my refrigerator in little jars like this. So again, if you have protein powder that you add to your oats, you could just add and mix that into this. If you're somebody that's new and listening in, or maybe you have a meal plan from us that has oats and berries and cinnamon powder, you don't always have to cook the oats. You can do the overnight oats. They're very convenient. And you could add your berries to the top of this. If you needed extra fats, flaxseed. And again, I know there's multiple people watching, those of you that are new, these are healthy ideas of fats. Flaxseed is a good, healthy fat source that you could mix into it. Adding, some berries can be a great idea as well for your overnight oats. Some people, you could even stir in not just a protein powder, but you could stir in a non-fat, sugar-free Greek yogurt for a little bit of protein. And so there's numerous things that you can do with overnight oats. They're very convenient in the morning. Again, those of you in the tribe that are watching this, that are in our one-on-one program, these are ideas that you can use with your existing meal plan and how you can, not always have breakfast the same, because there's several different ways you can do oatmeal, for example. So what you do with these, just to show you guys, if you don't, well, drop in the comments below. If you need to see a little bit, I see a lot of people talking about my overnight. Oh, JENN's pancakes. Guys, we're going to do JENN's pancakes. We're just trying to so the longer you hang out with us, the more you're going to learn. But yeah, we both actually have pancakes to cook. But this is the overnight oats. Keep them in your refrigerator. And really all that I do is... So I just have my oats, and I don't do anything fancy with mine. Actually, let me hold on here. I have multiple sizes of mason jars. I love these things. They're so inexpensive, and they're just a great way to store things. I use them for everything. They're so inexpensive. So I just take my oats and keep it super simple. I put whatever serving size I have, half a cup, quarter, whatever it might be. And then all I do is because I don't have like in my nutrition plan, I don't have anything like almond milk or anything in there. So I'll just take water and I fill it with water just above the oat line. And then you can add things like a sugar-free syrup. This is called Sinless Syrups. Actually, Amber got me onto this. It's actually made with stevia, and I love that. So you can take one of these, and I think I actually did that for this one. And I just put a capful of sweetener in there. Add some cinnamon powder, whatever you want. And then you can do this like the night before. You can do it on Saturday, like Jenn's doing right now, in the refrigerator. And then just add your toppings when you're done. So it's just one fast method of like how, and you could do overnight oats, guys, for you. You could also do them for your kids that are maybe a little bit more fun, right? And for them, and then all you're doing is having your kids this in the morning. I don't know, Jen. I don't have kids, but I think I just had a brilliant idea because you could do all kinds of fun things with have your own overnight oats, but do fun stuff for the kids.
Okay, the cool thing about oats is that I don't know about you guys, but I love pancakes. I absolutely love pancakes. I love everything breakfast. And so just eating plain oats or plain cream of rice or something like that, I like that, but not for every day. I like to be creative and create different things, have a little variety. And when I would eat pancakes, with the wheat or the flour or Bisquick or whatever it was, like I would just feel heavy and bloated and not a lot of energy, probably because, it was the wrong carbohydrates and all the sugary syrup that I would, douse it with. And so literally my kids don't know the difference if it's oats or if it's Bisquick. Like they don't know, they don't care. The trick is I have another fun kitchen tool. I have like this little ninja chopper, and so I grind the oats to make it like a flour, or you can even buy oat flour, and I grind it up, and then I make it like a flour. And what I do is I put it in a big measuring cup. This is for my kids. And I'll put like 2 cups and then I'll add some water and then I heat it up in the microwave. And so then it makes it like this type of consistency. This is just one serving. This is just for me. I know it seems like a lot because my coach is feeding me a lot of food right now, but so I just do that. So it's like, like a batter consistency. And then the fun little trick is the baking powder.
Yep. Secret weapon. That's what makes them fluffy.
Put a little baking powder in there.
A little will do you though, Jen, right? You don't need a lot.
Yes. Well, it depends.
Best, right?
So when I'm batch prepping for my kids, you just do it for whatever cup. It's usually 1 teaspoon per cup. Mm-hmm. So if it's a cup of oats, then 1 teaspoon. And then, for added protein, I'll put a couple eggs in there. I have Formula 1 level 1. So I put my level 1 in here and then spice it up, baby. We love spices. I love my cinnamon. So I just overload it on cinnamon. Nutmeg is another one of my go-to favorites. When it's pumpkin spice season, I get pumpkin spice. Or when it's not pumpkin spice season, I still put pumpkin spice in there.
I love
that. So I spice it up. Vanilla. Well, like you said, you could do the seasonings. I just like plain vanilla extract. Put a little bit of that in there. My kids like it a little fancy. So sometimes, I throw little sprinkles in there or some chocolate chips or something like that. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, you're making it interesting for your kids. All right, hold on, listen. All right, so how much protein powder do you put in? I'm not sure who asked that question, but guys, the amount of protein powder that you're going to use. So, for example, if you're asking like in the pancakes that Jenn's making or in the overnight oats, I put in, yeah, I use the salted as well. But to ask, to answer the question, how much, you're just doing one serving. If you're in our program, it'll actually say on your meal plan how much protein that you're supposed to use. If you guys are tuning in, and you've never heard of protein oats or using protein powder, like what we're talking about is like that is another really great way to get your protein in, because we struggle with that so much. So in our one-on-one programs, we do utilize protein powders here and there to help to increase that the protein levels of those of our clients. So to eat how much, it depends on like one, what a serving is and how many servings you have on your actual meal plan. So Jenn is like, and just to backtrack a little bit so you guys understand what she's talking about and what she's doing, is she's bulk prepping actually her breakfast, and she's doing, which I didn't even know that she did, and it is quite ingenious. Like she's taking her actual meal, which is oats and protein. She's turning it into a pancake, but she's bulk making the pancake mixture, which by the way is her recipe from her meal plan. She's taken eggs, oats, and protein powder, and sometimes it's egg oats and just eggs and oats, and she's made it, or we've actually made it for you different ways. So the idea of expanding the creativity is like, that's the other thing. And what she's doing to layer on to making it different ways is she's taking it and a step further and creating enough of her pancake mixture that she can split it off and create it for her kids, who she just told you in the beginning don't even know the difference, that they're eating protein pancakes and not some garbage shit. She's never even told them. I probably just did with my loud ass mouth. So, guys, like, think bigger. Like, that's awesome. She's also pre-doing her breakfast for her kids, because by the way, when you make these pancakes or the overnight oats, you can pre-make it. Now I will tell you one thing, guys. I can make pancake eggs, egg white and oats pancakes for you too. But what I can tell you is I'm not as fancy as she is. So how I do it, I actually don't pre-blend my oats. I put everything into this bad boy. So this is one of my best friends in the kitchen. I put my entire, so say my breakfast has 6 egg whites, an egg, and then a half a cup of oats. In here will go 6 egg whites, 1 egg, and a half a cup of oats. Then, like Jenn does, I will put either a sugar-free syrup sweetener in there. I will put almond extract. I always have cinnamon in there. I love cinnamon. Sometimes I just use stevia packets to sweeten it. And then I'm a sweet salty girl, so I'll actually put a little salt in here as well. I hit blend. I blend it up. Once it's blended, I spray a nonstick pan. I just pour the mixture in there. And I can show you how I do it. Just like any other pancake, it will start to bubble and then you just flip it. Sometimes if I have blueberries in my meal plan or some type of berry that I have eggs, oats, and berries, I'll just take my berries before I flip it and sprinkle it on top, flip the pancake, and now I have whatever berry I had in my pancake. So I just took egg whites, egg, and oats with berries, and so did Jenn, and created a pancake out of it. She's just bulk doing it. I'm showing you how a single girl does it. Okay. It's like, so to be honest with you, Jenn, I got the best of both worlds right now.
Right.
I don't know if you got anything to chat about. I'm gonna go make this pancake, show them how I do it. I'll just pass the torch to you for a minute.
Perfect. Yeah, like I was saying, I batch prep for my kids so that way, again, there's no guessing as to what can I eat or, what's for dinner, what's for breakfast, like everything's ready to go. I chop up their apples, I have their carrots ready to go, their cucumber slices. And then that way they're grabbing healthier food choices too. And, I keep the processed foods out or at a minimum, if I do have anything, it's usually, popcorn or, smart pop or popcorn or, on occasion they can, have some chips or something like that. But usually, even my kids will I'll package up my rice cakes and my kids are grabbing the rice cakes. I'm like, hey, that's mine. I'm like, what are you doing? But I mean, what am I going to do? Complain about them grabbing those healthier food options? So, because, you lead by example. And so whatever they see me doing, they want to participate in as well. And so,
I'm so glad you brought that up because I hear that so often. Guys, listen, it's not just Jen. I hear this all the time. Jen might have even done this. She may have been one of the first ones. Usually an opening comment is meal prep. Oh my God, my family's not going to want to eat what I do. This is going to create more work. Well, one, as you're tuning into this, you're going to hear it doesn't create any more work for her. She's just by bulk prepping. Her family she can take all of the things that she's making for herself and and create different things to it by adding different flavors and seasonings. But the other great thing that I always hear and what I love hearing her say is on top of that, it's going to be a lot of work because the family won't eat what you're eating. And did you hear what she said? Because almost 99.9% of the women that join our program, I hear the same thing I just heard from Jen. My family likes to eat healthy now. Literally asking for healthier options because in the beginning it's new, it's different, they're used to things. But after a while, Jen, I'm going to assume your kids really started to see things changing with you, probably not just physically, but just the way you behave and how your mental attitude changed. And then they gravitate to that shit. Because I think we forget, they're young. They don't have biased opinions. They're very absorbent as they're younger. And I'll let you talk more about that. But like I said, I think you might have even been one of the women that joined the tribe and were like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. My family's not gonna want to eat like this. And now look at where you are.
Yep. And now it's just, and it's just like, well, what's for dinner? And, they clearly see everything is prepped in the refrigerator, ready to go. There's no guesswork. I'm like, well, we got turkey meat, we've got chicken, we've got burgers, because I'll prep ahead of time the burgers too. And then they just have their choice of whatever they feel like. And I don't have to worry about it. They're a little bit older now. But my teenager even, he goes to the gym with me and he wants to eat healthy because he sees the benefits in it and he feels the benefits in it. And same with, their breakfasts in the morning, they see me eating breakfast. So of course they want to eat breakfast. And my youngest, they would always eat cereal in the morning. And now I'm like, what do you want for breakfast? And he's like, eggs and toast. And I'm like, all right, perfect. Let me make you some eggs. And so they like that. Yeah. And I just made, like I said, I just made oat pancakes for them. And I just bulk prepped them and I put them in the refrigerator in a Ziploc bag or a container. And then they could just take it out and pop it in the air fryer or pop it in the toaster and bada bing, bada boom. The breakfast is all ready to go for them. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you bulk prep? I think you said you bulk prep your carbohydrates too. What are some good carbohydrates? Now I know you're following a meal plan right now, and again, like you're actually putting, creating off of a meal plan. But like in general, being in the program, as we're talking to women that aren't following meal plan or trying to meal prep. We talked about protein sources that are, we? So we didn't actually cover that. Good protein sources obviously are, chicken, which you're prepping, ground white turkey. Jen, like we talked about. Yeah, exactly.
Turkey.
Yeah.
I'm prepping turkey too. So, cause that's all, I literally have all the meats on my meal plan. Fish, turkey, and chicken.
What are you doing with the fish?
So I don't have the fish right now because I've already cooked that ahead of time. But like I said, I love.
Wait, you did what?
I cooked it ahead of time.
Oh, earlier this week?
Last week. I cooked for 2 weeks and I stuck it in the freezer. Do you want to come see my freezer?
So you so you sometimes double up your food?
Yes. So I got a big fillet.
So maybe on a weekend that like you have more time, you double. Oh,
because it was a 3-day weekend. Was it a 3-day weekend last weekend?
So now you just bought back more time because you have. Oh.
So I got a big thing of fillet of fish, which was the cod, because that's on my meal plan. And so then let's see my freezer right here. So then I portion it out into containers. So this is literally my cod portioned out. And then I portion out for my husband for lunches some ground turkey. I make it into like a taco meat because my kids, they all love tacos. My husband, my kids love tacos. So I portion that out. I even like make my patties, my burgers ahead of time. And then I have them ready to go. So that way I can just pull them out. Because again, like I like variety. But yeah, everything is portioned, ready to go in my freezer.
So not just for you, but for your family too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all better be taking notes.
Ready to go.
You're getting the goods today. All the ninja hacks of the Queen Ninja over here herself.
Yeah, so I already cooked my fish, but normally I have 3 proteins that I do: fish, chicken, and the ground turkey. And like I said, I'll do the turkey and like turkey burgers. But today I'm gonna just throw it on the stove, and I'm gonna throw some of this Asian dressing marinade on there and make it an Asian one. So those are my proteins, and then my carbohydrates. Right now I've got my rice in my rice cooker. Sweet potatoes are another good carbohydrate. You can do these in the air fryer, chop it up and bake it in the oven.
In the air fryer, like sweet potato fries?
Yep, sweet potato. Oh, those are my favorite. Those are my absolute. That's on my high carb day. I have those today actually. So I make them into wedges, and I weigh them out, and then I stick them in the air fryer with a little coconut oil spray, and then just season it with Himalayan salt and pepper. It's so good.
Yeah, I think we forget about that. Like, oh man, Jules, there's only so many proteins, so many carbohydrates. I'm bored. And guys, whether you're following a meal plan or again, if you're like, oh, I don't meal prep because all the healthy foods are boring. She just told you about 3 or 4 different ways to make sweet potatoes. And they're going to all taste differently. Like you can do sweet potato fries. You can do baked. You could slice them up and to make them into chips. I've done that before. Like there's so many different ways that you can cook them. Mashed wedges. And I actually do the same thing, you could season sweet potatoes different. Brown sugar, or not brown sugar. Oh my God, don't do that. Like brown stevia. I don't know if you've seen that before, or regular stevia and cinnamon powder, yum, or you can salt them and roast them. So just like opening up to like all the different ways that you can approach this. Even her rice, she talks about seasoning her rice differently. All right, so
Yeah.
I just did the single girl version. So egg whites, the powder, the baking powder's in here. I just use, I'm not a great measurer. I'm like one of those girls that pinch of that, a pipe of that, whatever. So I just put like a quarter of a teaspoon of baking powder because I found if you put too much in, they get a little too fluffy. But the baking powder is the secret to the fluffy pancake. And then I have cinnamon in here. So I'm just gonna blend it up and cook it. Oh, Jen, we both walked away.
I am almost done with my pancakes. But there's so I just put them on the griddle, and then that way I can cook a bunch at a time. They don't look pretty, but they taste hella good.
They do taste hella good. So again, here's the single girl method. I just blended everything up. And just realizing I actually have avocado oil spray that I will spray the bottom of my pan with. You know, I want to talk about something, guys. This just occurred to me. So there are a lot of things out there that have hidden calories. Now, this is one of them. All right. So this, if you look at the nutrition label, is going to lead you to believe that there is zero anything in here. But where you're missing the boat, and a lot of people miss the boat on a nutrition, is there is 536 servings in this. Okay. And a serving size, if you look over here on it, and I'm sure is a quarter of a second. That's not even one. And how often do you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? That's 7 seconds, and a quarter of a second is a spray. Now, am I telling you this is bad? Absolutely not. It still is a great choice, and I recommend using an oil, the avocado, the coconut oil sprays, because you're going to get a lot less. But the reason I point this out is because a lot of times we sit there, well, it's 0 calories, and you just keep going. And that is how you can read a hidden nutrition label. So always look, no matter what it is what is the serving size? A quarter of a second spray. I don't know. I don't think there's anybody out there using a quarter of a second. I can't count to a quarter of a second. But that's what I did. Then Jen's eating her pancakes. You're going to be able to see how delicious it is. So then, and the guys, mine is super runny. Don't worry about it. All right. It still cooks up just fine. You're going to see mine look very similar to hers, except mine's going to be huge because it's a big pan. How are your pancakes, Jen?
So good. Delicious. And I added more cinnamon, of course. Can never overdo the cinnamon.
You guys,
so good.
Somebody make sure you remind me that I have pancakes cooking over there.
Okay.
We don't want the fire alarm to go off. All right. So you have prepped your protein. You've prepped your carbohydrates. Now you're just chilling, letting things cook and eating your pancake. I love it.
I am right now. And then I've got, I got my pan heating up for my ground turkey.
Ooh.
Because, yeah, it's time to eat again. And I'm chopping up bell peppers and red onion, and I'm going to grill that. And then that way I have that to just add to whatever meal I want to during the week.
Because Those are free, aren't they?
Yes. Yes, those are free. And it just adds that much more flavor to your food. But I don't like to cook. I like to keep it separate because then that way I can weigh my meats out and have the right amount of protein. Because if I weigh it with the bell peppers, it's going to add more weight to it. And then I'm not going to be eating the right amount of protein.
Absolutely. And for those of you guys that, aren't hanging with us in our in the tribe, and you're watching this on the replay, or you're even here with us right now. So we're talking about weighing your food. So everybody needs to have a scale, because I like to say, if you're not measuring, you're not tracking, you're guessing. And I promise you, your visual idea of certain measurements are way off. So you want to weigh things like your meats. Some things, we do measure in cups, like some of our carbohydrates and vegetables will measure by cups, but proteins and fats are super important to be weighing out. Your average protein source will be, you're looking to get about 26 grams per meal. And you should be eating at least, got a minimum, ladies, of 4 times a day. I would recommend 5 or 6, like 3 main meals and 2 to 3 snacks. So you're eating very frequently throughout the day. But each one of those should have approximately 25 grams of protein. And every gram of protein is 2 calories. So, you can kind of gauge it that way. But weighing out your food is super important. Anywhere from, most women eat that 20 to 25 grams is going to come about 3.5 ounces of protein. Most of the proteins, like they're all a little different, is going to give you about that. So a scale, super important, guys. Actually, I'll give you a really good reason why it's super important.
Don't forget your pancake. I know it takes a while to cook. I just threw my ground turkey into my pot that was heating up on the stove. And I'm going to just go ahead and throw some seasonings in there. Spice it up, baby, because we all need a little spice in our life, right? I'm also going to start cooking my veggies. And my chicken is still grilling on the smoker. And of course, I've got my chicken that's cooking in the crock pot on the slow pot. My rice is in the rice cooker. I'm eating my pancakes because I got to stay fueled during this whole process. So, and they're so delicious. I have my bell peppers chopped. I'm going to chop my red onion, get that going. And I'm going to thank myself later because my meat is going to go so smooth and there will be no guessing. And then, of course, we save money by not eating out because all of our food is here ready to go. And who wants to go out and wait anyways when you're hungry, right?
Right.
You think it's faster, but it's not. You have to sit there and you have to wait for a table and then you have to wait for the food to cook and prep. And
so much easier. I love it. I was going to show them how much a actual serving of almond butter weighs, but because I'm such an almond butter freak, I actually have my trick because I can overeat it. So guys, I'm going to show you my trick while I'm watching my pancakes on how to stop this, but I want you guys to stop this little thing that can happen with almond butter, which is, I don't know about any of you, but there cannot be an open jar in my house because I can polish that off in no time and think it's healthy. But the thing to remember, guys, is first off, a gram of fat has 9 calories in it. A gram of protein or a gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories. What does that mean? You can very easily go over in calories and fats, which is why the smallest percentage of your overall balance of macronutrients is always going to be your fats. So where that comes into example is the next time you go to get, and I challenge you to this, the next time you go to get a scoop, what you think is a serving size or a tablespoon of almond butter, I want you to take your scale you have, and I want you to put your spoon on it, and then zero it out, taro it out, so it's zero with the weight of your spoon. And I want you to dig into a jar of almond butter, take what you think is a tablespoon, and put it on your scale. I promise you, it will be several grams or ounces over what you think you're getting. So 16 grams is actually 1 serving size of any almond butter or nut butter. 90% of the time, you're grabbing anywhere from 26 to 30. 1 gram is 9 calories. I want you to do the math for a minute while I go and flip my pancake. But, think about that when it comes to even almonds. Oh, well, I just had 5 more almonds. Let's look at the back of a bag of almonds, guys. Like that is, and I'll let Jen talk a little bit about that. If I don't go flip my pancake, we'll have a burnt one.
Yeah. And speaking of that, it is super important to weigh and measure everything out. And so one of the things that I find easier for me, rather than scooping it out and doing it every single day, is I have lots of different small containers that I put things in. So, well, I have a whole little thing of containers. And so, like, portion out nuts inside of here. These little containers I love for the nut butters, so for the almond butters and stuff. So I'll just portion it out in there so it's ready to go. And then I even do my protein powders and my vitamins. So this is actually my husband. So here's his vitamins. I've got his nuts portioned out. And then I do our protein powder portioned out as well. I stick his in a plastic bag. For me, I like to do these containers. And then, I don't wash them every time, because why? Why do I need to wash them every time? It's just protein powder. So I dump it in there, and then I save my containers and I put them in the pantry. And then maybe after a few weeks or something like that, then I'll rinse them off and wash them. But I mean, again, I'm trying to save time and work smarter, not harder, So yeah, so I have everything all portioned out, ready to go for the week. So it's like boom, boom, boom. In the lunchbox, we're ready to go.
I love that. Staying ahead of the game. So, guys, here's my finished pancake. So it's quite large, but as you can see, it looks like a pancake. And again, it's larger because of the size of my pan that I use, but I just let it flip once. And I mean, it tastes like Jen said. You can see it looks like a pancake. It's fluffy. And then as Jen talked about earlier, I actually love Walden Farm syrup. My favorite. I have the pancake syrup right now. I actually like the blueberry one the best. My second favorite is the maple one. But I'll just put a little bit of that on. I actually put this on my eggs too. And there you go. Protein pancake. And that is my entire breakfast, which is 1 egg, 6 egg whites, and a half a cup of oats. I could have eaten it, as I showed you guys earlier. I could have eaten the oats as, overnight oats. I could have cooked them in the microwave. I made it into a pancake this time, and I'll have to show you guys at a later time. I actually do another trick. Sometimes I don't feel like, and you can pre-make these pancakes, by the way. So then you can grab them out of your refrigerator and go. So that's one way of taking that breakfast and making it different. Here's another really goofy way. I'll have to come in here live and show you guys because it probably is going to sound weird to you, but I will do this for my post-workout as well as my breakfast sometimes. So I'll take a large bowl, just like a regular bowl. I think mine are in the dishwasher. Just a ceramic bowl, like, a dish. So something like this, but I use a larger, wider one, so the surface is wider. I put my egg whites in there, and my oats, some salt, because I'm a sweet salty girl, so I'll put some salt in there, some cinnamon powder, and then I usually will sprinkle a little stevia, so it's sweet and salty. So in a bowl, I have my egg whites, whatever they measure out to be, and then my oats. I mix it all up. And I actually stick it in the microwave, and I just keep stirring it. It sounds really weird, but it's like oatmeal mixed with egg whites. It's kind of, you see me, if you guys follow me currently on my story, I'm like digging it, and I eat it for breakfast every morning. It's kind of like an egg oat scramble, but it tastes super good. I'm a weirdo. I do a lot of weird things. I used to turn my egg whites and oats into an oatmeal omelet. I would literally put the oats in the middle of my egg and egg whites. It was so freaking, don't knock any of this stuff until you try it. Jen was talking about serving size out. So one of the ways that you can help yourself, and this is what I do, is instead of having a jar of almond butter, I have little pre-packs of it. So I know that this is exactly one serving. You just got to be careful. Not all of them are serving. Sometimes you got to read the back. Some of them are actually, these aren't. These are a little over. This is 32 grams versus 16 grams in here. So you would have to actually still weigh this out. But it does save you from polishing off a jar because you only have one pack open at a time.
Right? Exactly.
So what else you got? Jen, what do you do with your vegetables?
So actually, it depends on what kind of vegetables I've got going on, but my kids love broccoli. I have like asparagus almost every single time on my meal plan. So I do like asparagus. I like fresh asparagus, and then there's some vegetables that I like better frozen. So for one of them, I actually like my green beans. I do like fresh green beans, but you know how much work it is to wash them and then cut the ends off and all that stuff. So I just get a big bag of organic green beans, and I'm steaming them right now, actually, in my pot. So I just stick it in my pot to steam. But I like to cook my fresh vegetables. Either I'll throw them in a pot and steam them, or I can bake them. Like, there's so many different ways that you could do it. I like my asparagus in the air fryer because I like it a little al dente. So it has to be a little crunchy for me. I don't like it soft and mushy. So I cook them in the air fryer, and it's like perfect. And I'll cook it ahead of time again, and I put them in containers and stick it in the fridge, and I have all my veggies ready to go. So usually it's green beans, asparagus, broccoli, because my kids love broccoli, and my youngest, in fact, actually, like anytime we go out to a restaurant or something, what's your side? Not French fries, not potatoes, steamed broccoli.
I love it.
I love this kid.
I love it. I love
Steamed broccoli. He's like, And then cabbage. Cabbage is another thing. That's a good filler. So I'm going to chop this up. I throw it in a pot to steam, just to cook it up just a little bit. Because again, I like things crunchy. And so I'm just going to steam it a little bit, put a little vinegar in there. Sometimes I'll do rice vinegar, red wine vinegar, something with the vinegar and the cabbage. It just activates it. Yeah. So those are
I
my
love that.
veggies. Yeah.
So guys, like, so here's another time saver. So, yeah, fresh vegetables are always going to have the most nutrients. Okay. So like people ask this all the time, do I have to have fresh vegetables? Or they're going to be the most nutrient dense. However, a good time saver is to have frozen vegetables. So frozen vegetables is the next best thing to getting the most nutrients out of the vegetables. The worst would be the can. Those are usually really stripped of all of their nutritional value, but frozen is always a great option. And like Jen talks about, like I have certain vegetables that I prefer fresh. Most of my vegetables I prefer fresh. And I also like them crunchy. So I'll give you an idea of like how I do my vegetables. But frozen is always like I have a backup of every vegetable, frozen version in my freezer as a backup. But I also there's certain ones that I'd prefer. Like I'm on the same page. I do my green beans frozen because I have no desire to. I actually think I like the French cut. I like it better. So yeah, I always do too. Now, what I do different than Jen, and this is just like what your preference is. So I bulk prep. I put my proteins and my carbohydrates and my meal with that. And then if I have vegetables, I actually cook my vegetables in there raw. And I then heat it up in the microwave. And so my vegetables cook in the microwave while my other food is heating up. But I like mine really crunchy. So that's another way of doing it. So I just always put them in there fresh. And when I microwave, they wind up cooking. Now, two things to note about cooking vegetables. One, the less we cook them, the more their nutrient value stays, okay? Which is why canned vegetables aren't great and really are stripped of their nutritional value because of what happens in the canning process. However, the frozen vegetables and fresh are, again, your most nutrient dense. Cooking the least amount of time is always the best, okay? Raw vegetables, believe it or not, aren't that good for us as females over 40. It has to do with the digestion. It also has to do with several like different things, but we're actually better off eating them slightly cooked. But overcooked, that's a whole different subject. So I'm not going to go down that. But if you overcook them, then some of the nutritional value comes out. So steaming is always a great option for veggies. And again, there's going to be people that are going to sit on two sides of the fence. You're anti-microwave people. I'm a hippie. All right. I lean into a lot of natural things. However, I still use a microwave. It is what it is. Okay. But one of the things that is good about a microwave is there's actually science behind it. Cooking your vegetables in a microwave are better. Why? Because it's a fast cook. So whenever it's a fast cook and it's not done it eliminates the nutrients, the nutritional value. I can talk this morning. It helps maintain it. I hope you can get it. So those are the two best ways, and that's one of the reasons why I microwave my vegetables. Is I'm trying to get the most value out of them. So that's just another way of handling your vegetables. But Jen's pre-doing them all as well. And the other thing that you can have, so chopping up green peppers, red peppers, it's what we call a free food. There's not a lot of caloric value to them. And it's a great thing to have available as a snack for your kids or yourself. So instead of reaching for a bag of chips, you reach for some green or red peppers to snack on, or as Jen said, you have them available to add to your proteins, or any of your, even chop them up and put them in your rice to add flavor. Onions, garlic, those seasonings are free as well. Also keeping things like, you've always heard celery, snack on celery, but there's other things besides celery that you can snack on that have really zero, they're totally free, like the pepper. So snacking on peppers or dicing up cucumbers. Yes, is that what you said? Yeah, dicing up cucumbers. I love cucumbers. I'll take cucumbers and dip them into salsa as a chip. Like I just love it. I will slice them up and I will season them with salt and pepper. Sometimes I use feast modes. I don't have any right now, but Feast Mode is a seasoning company that's on my Amazon page. It's a great free seasoning, meaning it's free of a lot of things. They have a tequila lime that I'll put on my cucumbers. I believe I even have, I don't know, I think I might have a recipe on that. But anyway, I will do that and keep those in my refrigerator to snack on. So you can do that. Celery definitely is a good crunch. So if you like crunch, think, peppers, celery, cucumbers, have as many as you like. Asparagus is another one that, you can eat it as a vegetable, but you can snack on it throughout the day. It's a natural diuretic. It helps to keep inflammation down, but I like them in the air fryer, like Jen said, and I like them with salt on them, and I dip them in mustard. But they're another thing that you can snack on throughout the day if you or have it for your kid. So those are like freer foods that you can have in your refrigerator to one, snack on without any guilt, or two, to use to season your other meals. I don't know I'm sure I missed some, Jen. What else can they snack
on?
I'm just going to eat it.
Well, those ones are the best ones. I mean, you could do carrots occasionally, but those do have some carbs and extra calories in it. So
carrots are good too.
Yeah.
Carrots got a lot of value. Actually, carrots, guys, can be good to have on hand when you're going through that time of the month, PMS.
Yes.
Carrots will actually help balance out your estrogen level. So snacking on a few of those during the time of the month will actually help with symptoms.
All right, my rice is done.
You
see?
You make rice so well. When did you make that in?
Actually put the chicken bone broth in there instead of just plain water. It gives it a little extra flavoring. Bone broth is really good for it too. I'll even cook, I'll steam some of my vegetables with it. So I'll do it with my cabbage and my broccoli. I steam, instead of water, I'll just put a little bit of bone broth in there to steam them. Those have it has a lot of nutritional value in there. If you're sick, bone broth is not the chicken broth, not the beef broth.
Yep. We got some questions here. I'm going to go through these, Jen. So, one, yes, bone broth, guys.
Right now, I got green beans. My ground turkey is all ready to go.
Ooh, look at her. Listen, she's doing this while we are live, guys. This isn't we're put into here and she's meal prepping. I'm sure she'd be done if we weren't sidetracking with our conversations. But let me answer a couple of these questions. And yes, there's a difference between bone broth and actual
chicken broth.
Well, not chicken. Yeah, broth. So bone broth or soup broth are two different things. So you want to look for something that says bone broth. Now, if it's chicken bone broth, that's cool. If it's beef bone broth, that's cool. You just want the bone broth. It actually has, as Jen said, a lot of nutritional value, and you can use it in place of water, or cut water with it to saute vegetables, and it's actually really good for you to do that, as well as flavor in with your rice. Do we use white rice? Let me go through here. Do we use white rice or brown rice? So guys, it doesn't really matter. If you are on a meal plan with us, we might stick with whatever rice we do put on there, because we may be looking at different types of rice and how they behave with you. But in general, ladies, if you're watching this and you're like, what kind of rice should I buy at the grocery store? To be honest with you, it can be anything from jasmine to just plain white rice, to brown rice. Is there a little bit, I think the advantage for me, brown rice over white rice, is it's just not as bleached, right? But the nutritional value is similar. Actually, white rice tends to have a little higher, I don't know why, nutritional value. Like it has more protein in it. I don't know why, but any rice is fine, guys. Really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What else did so? Wait a minute. How do I feel about pickles or kimchi? Kimchi.
Ooh, I love
Kimchi.
pickles.
I love how that was spelled. Okay, I was like, what the? Kimchi. Okay, so actually, those are both free foods as well. Let's not, pound the jar of pickles, but if you need a crunch and you are craving, pickles have actually salt in them. And sometimes another thing that we don't get enough of and can cause us to get dizzy and not feel well during our workouts is salt. We have a tendency, unless you have high blood pressure, guys, you should have salt on all of your food. It's an electrolyte. Pink Himalaya salt will actually, and having enough of it will help you keep from getting dehydrated. It's an electrolyte. So you should be putting that shit on everything unless you have high blood pressure, and follow your doctor's orders. But definitely pickles can be a great source for that. And again, like I said, they can crunch just like the cucumbers. Just, let's not pound a jar of them. But yes, absolutely. And we're talking the dill pickles, not the sweet pickles, because those are loaded with sugar, guys. Kimchi, perfect. Kimchi is cabbage. So,
not the sweet pickles.
but kimchi is fermented cabbage, guys. And any form of fermentation is actually very good for your gut health. So 1000% sauerkraut is another great free food that you can add into anything to change the flavor. And it's freaking fantastic for your gut. And it's also free. Okay, these are like fermented foods. So the fermented kimchi, or as I said, what did I just say? Sauerkraut, all totally fine, and actually an additional health benefit. Not to mention a great way to flavor your food. I think that's all the questions we got.
I'm gonna go pull my chicken.
All right, guys. Well, Jenn's pulling her chicken and I'm eating my pancake. Yeah, you've watched me eat two things. Go back up. See, I eat a freaking lot. Like I broke my breakfast into two different, so I could show you guys two different ways of doing it. And this is my second breakfast of the day, by the way, my post-workout breakfast. If you guys have any questions, that's what I was going to say. Drop them now. This is good information. This is good information. I think you all need to drop some fire for the kitchen ninja queen.
Boom.
Yeah. Oh, yum.
So this is my barbecue and this is my Asian spice there.
And what did you use for the barbecue sauce again?
I use G. Hughes sugar-free barbecue sauce. I threw some garlic and onion and Montreal seasoning. I threw a little buttery steakhouse Kinder seasoning on there. And then some, I do margarine, thyme, parsley. I do some herbs as well. I threw some herbs on there. So
different herbs. Love that.
Mustard powder. Yeah.
So guys, there's when I hear it's boring, guys, you can season your food so many different ways. There's no way that it's boring. Like you can make your meal prep. You can take 3 basic proteins and be so creative with them throughout the week. 2 to 3 different sources of carbohydrates. Heck, you could probably just have 2 sources of carbohydrates and redo them so many different ways. So again, guys, if you're new, you're tuning into this, without a meal plan, and you're like, just how can I start this this is how you can start. Like you can meal prep and keep it simple, guys, because if you've got a couple of different proteins in your refrigerator, a couple of different carbohydrates in your refrigerator, and some vegetables, you are like setting yourself up for success for the week. You make so many things, as Jen just showed you, like you've got, and it's available to you. So you're not going to be like leaning into carbohydrates and fats because you've got yourself set up for success. Like you can make rice 5 different ways. You could pre-cook white rice and dice up some tomatoes and peppers and squeeze some lime on it, and all of a sudden you got Mexican rice. And you could take it and add it to a stir fry with some chicken and shrimp and some fresh vegetables, and add some, like, guys, like if you have this stuff available, even if you cook it plain and you season it after, like you're just setting yourself up for success. Like meal prep, I believe we overcomplicate it. And I'll let Jen weigh in, but I think we let it overwhelm us. It feels like it's like, oh God. And like she said in the beginning, you try to do everything in one day and do it too much. But like if you took anything away from this, dumb it down, guys. Like spread it out throughout the week a little bit. Some of your, like Jen, talked about doing, but also keep it super simple. Like two proteins is really all you need. Like Jen, if you didn't have a meal plan, could you like manage 2 proteins, 2 carbohydrates, and make how many different meals?
Well, and that's exactly it. Like I made chicken 3 different ways, right? That's 1 protein. I could easily have made my ground, which I actually do. Again, I meal prep ahead of time, and then it just makes my life easier. So I did an Asian ground turkey. I've done meatballs before, to make like an Italian, like, so that way you could do spaghetti squash, like the kids. I do spaghetti squash with the kids and make like a marinara sauce with the meatballs. I've also done, I like ground turkey, taco meat. So I made it ahead of time and portioned them out and put them in the freezer. Again, like I try to simplify. I bulk prep and then I make them like 3 or 4 different ways. And then like I portion it out for myself and then it's ready to go in the freezer. So this is just taco meat, 3 ounces of taco meat. For when I have my sweet potatoes and turkey.
So, and guys, like, if you're, and don't get overwhelmed, like, oh my God, she's got all this stuff in her freezer. Let me tell you, and she will correct me if I'm wrong, but how this happened is her putting in the reps. So if she's got more time, she's just doubling up her recipe and she's thinking ahead. So that freezer full of meat did not happen the day one that she started prepping, but she started to like go, oh, you know what? I really love making tacos. So let me just create and make my life simpler by portioning out the portions. And she maybe doubled up or tripled up a batch one day and then put some of it in the freezer and kept some out for her meal prep. So over time, these are things that will happen. So again, I'm just sharing this because don't get overwhelmed and think you have to do this all in one day. But you create what you need for the week. And as you have time, maybe you bulk prep and make a little extra of certain things to put in your freezer for that rainy day. Am I right?
Well, and that's just it. Like I was prepping it all like this, and then like I would have it in the fridge, and like sometimes my husband like wouldn't take his lunches or something, so then I ended up wasting it, and I didn't want to waste it, so then I just got smarter, and I was like, I'm just gonna stick it in the freezer. Then if he wants to take it out, it's like frozen meals, like
Right.
You take frozen meals to work or whatever as out of convenience. Well, how is this any different? It's not any different. The only thing is that it's fresher and I know exactly what ingredients are going into it and I know exactly the right portion that I'm eating. So that's the only difference. So I was tired of wasting food is what I ended up. So I was like, and I don't know how much exactly, like I'm not going to calculate exactly how much I'm going to have. So then whatever's left over, I'm just going to portion it out and put it in the freezer. And then that's how I've been able to accumulate the stuff in the freezer. I literally just got smarter with the freezer stuff. Like a couple months ago, I'm not even joking. I was like, haha, that was like my aha moment.
Yeah. And, I love that because it happens all the time, like guys, as we evolve and you put in the reps. So it's just like going to the gym and, gaining strength and, developing muscle. That only comes with putting in the reps. And it's the same with what I would call kitchen reps. So the more you build that muscle, that kitchen muscle, the better you're going to, and more efficient you're going to be. So you're going to learn ninja tricks like this. You'll learn some of your own ninja tricks to save time. But the idea is really don't overthink this shit, okay? Overthinking it is only going to overwhelm you, and you can keep this so simple, and still have variety. So don't overthink it. That would be my tip of the day.
Exactly.
I don't know, Jen, do you have anything to add? Because I think we covered just about everything.
No, and then look at this. I'm like, look at da da da. Look at all this. I got my green beans.
And guys,
my chicken, my turkey. I'm cooking my cabbage. I've got, my more chicken in the crock pot that will be ready to go. And I've got my pepper. So, and look, I just took it off and I put them in containers. And then I've got my dish fairy, AKA my teenage son, who's going to clean the dishes for me. Because again,
delegation.
You need to delegate responsibilities. I do the cooking, you do the cleaning. So yeah, and then I'll put it in the fridge like this. And then tomorrow I'll have my containers out ready. I'll put my containers out on here and I'll weigh it out and boom, boom, boom. Put whatever I'm gonna have for the week in the fridge. And then anything left over, throw it in the freezer and done.
I love it. And guys, if you look at the time, and she was talking the entire time we've been doing this, it's at an hour and 30-minute mark that we've been here. And we haven't really even, she was starting and stopping. So guys, that's how simple it really can be. So, don't overcomplicate it. And I will say, like, I do meal prep. I forgot that I was going to talk about this. Like, if you really still look at this and you're like, I still need a little bit of help, you can order from like a meal prep company. Now, I do that. I order from a meal prep company called Long Life. And what I do is I do exactly what Jen is doing, and I have a freezer full of this. But I order. Let me grab some for you.
From Long Life.
From Long Life, yeah. Oh, here we go. I'm actually due. Now, I do this out of convenience, but I order bulk. So I just took this out of the freezer, but this is bulk green beans, frozen green beans, because I like frozen green beans. This is bulk ground turkey, so I buy it by the pound. And just like Jen, I currently I have some open in my refrigerator, but I also I order more than I need, and I have backup in my freezer. And then again, this is, you can't see it, it's frozen, but this is cinnamon, mashed cinnamon, sweet potatoes.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah, and then I get them different ways. I'll get their sweet potato wedges, their rices. So you can order from bulk from them. I'll drop the code and the link here in this live that we're doing, because that is sometimes, it's another way of buying back your time. But honestly, they're really, those of you that already, like, bulk prepping is super simple. And I'll be honest with you, I do it a lot myself, but I also, utilize a meal prep company. And part of it is because with a meal prep company too, like, I travel a lot. And when I started this journey, I was traveling even more. So for example, I'm traveling to Las Vegas next week. I just pre-ordered my food and they're shipping it to me. So like for me, people ask like, how do you travel? So I work with a meal prep company because instead of it's local and I can actually pick up here in North Carolina, but they ship nationwide. So when I arrive in Las Vegas, there'll be a box waiting for me with all of my food pre-cooked. And now all I have to do is build my meals. I don't have to worry about going. Well, I'll go to the grocery store and I'll pick up some oats and eggs and things like that, but that's it. So super convenient, and that's one of the reasons why I work with a meal prep company. I'm going to see. Oh, somebody asked if they could see your smoker.
Yeah.
You've asked a few questions. Maybe you aren't able to see them. I think I answered all the questions, but I'll go back through this while Jen is.
It's my smoker. It's my mama smoker because I'm a mama. So that's it. Super easy. I cook a bunch of meats on there all the time.
I love that. So that answers this first question. Somebody said, I'm curious if you barbecue the chicken or bake it. So as Jen talked about, there's the smoker that she uses, and she talked about baking and using a crock pot. Yep. Correct, Jen? So
I do it all different ways. Yep.
Protein pancakes recipe. I think we gave that to you guys. You can turn anything into a protein pancake. So we talked about that. That's like, your common breakfast. And we talked about it in a way, like one of the common meals that we give is like breakfast is a tough one to like, it's always going to look the same. So quite often, and people are leaning into oats, eggs, egg whites, right? So basically it's taking those three things and creating a pancake. Jen showed you one way of doing it. I showed you the single girl way of doing it. Either way will work, but you're basically blending up whatever your portion size is of oats, however many eggs are in your, like your actual breakfast and egg whites. Add the secret ingredient, which is baking powder. You don't need more than a quarter teaspoon. Add cinnamon, salt, whatever you want. I like cinnamon, salt, and stevia or a sweetener. Blend it up, and bada bing, bada boom, you got a pancake. You can pre-make those. Yeah. So again, couple of different ways. Overnight oats. So as far as somebody asked about protein powder, again, there's really no magic number. Your protein powder is the serving size that you either, if you're with us, what serving size is on your meal plan, that's what you should be using. Two, if, which is almost always going to be a scoop, guys. Like sometimes you get a little bit more protein and you get a scoop and a half, but for those of you tuning in, like it's just a serving size. That's what you're going to use to mix into your oats. Did you say how to cook the turkey? That's another question we got. How do you cook your turkey?
I just heated it up in the pan, and you want to just cook it until it's just cooked right. Well, I guess it just depends on, mine's 99% fat free. So you want to cook it until it's just right. So that way you're not overcooking it. Again, I just added my spices and I threw this Asian dressing.
I love that one. That one's good.
Yeah. So I threw this one in there. I did two containers of it, and
just on the stovetop, right?
Just on the stovetop. Yep. There it is. Look, and then look, I have them all ready to go, and I'm going to stick them in the fridge. And then, like I said, tomorrow I'm going to portion it out and be all ready to go for the week.
Awesome. I think I got all the questions. I'm still seeing that people asked questions. So let me guys open up it on Facebook to see if I've missed any.
Thanks so much for joining us. This was fun.
Sorry, got my volume up. Okay, I'm just peeking through here. Oh, okay. Do you ever use palm coconut sugar? So Darcy, no. So that is, if you think about that, and you look, so Darcy is with us in our program. She actually just got started. So that is a great question for those of you that are tuning in, that maybe you just got started with a one-on-one program with us. Things like anything like coconut sugar is a sugar. It might be a more natural version of it, but it is a sugar, as is honey. So one of the things that we do in our program for people that are just getting started is we do eliminate sugars. Now, the reason for that is sugars can cause a lot of issues. They can cause anything from spiking your blood sugar in the middle of the day to they're also empty calories. So even natural sugars are emptier calories. And to be honest with you, sugar can be a very big trigger food. So in the beginning of any program that you start with us, and I highly recommend this, there's nothing wrong with fruits and natural sugars, but many of them are even high in fructose.
Yes.
And can for bananas, for example, can spike your glucose levels in the middle of the day, which leads to energy shocks, crashes. So no, if you're on our program, what you should only be using is stevia, which is a sugar-free substitute, and it is created by a plant source. So when it comes to artificial sweeteners, I say to stay away from the pink and blue packets. Those are aspartame and not very good for you. But stevia, in its most natural form, is actually, or monk fruit, you can use that. Or even Splenda isn't as bad as the pink and blue packets. But no, we don't recommend sugars for numerous reasons.
Although I do during the holidays and stuff like that, I've learned how to substitute and supplement with different lower sugar sweeteners and options for baking and stuff like that. So stay tuned. Come join me for holiday baking.
Oh yeah, and you certainly can. All right. I think I see all the questions.
Okay, so another time saver too that I do is like I'll just use the same pan for my veggies. So like I cook my peppers and onions in here, and then I just saving time and energy and all that stuff and water. I just cooked my cabbage in here, and then actually I'm gonna throw my broccoli in next and steam my broccoli. So it's all in the same pan because you don't need to wash it or clean it out. It's just vegetables. So
I love that.
So that's another good time saver.
Absolutely love that. Well, girl, we've been here for almost an hour and 30 minutes. I feel like we really dropped some value. Guys, like, listen, if you're tuning in, again, we just want to remind you that, you know, if you're in our one-on-one program, we're grateful to have you here. It's awesome to be starting with you or continuing the journey. There's numerous, I see eyes in here. So hopefully I love that. Hopefully you guys got some value from this, even if you've been in our program, just kind of seeing some of the tricks that are in. And if you're new to us and you're just tuning in, and you're like, this is interesting and you want more information, all you have to do is DM me information and we will be sure to give you more information about all of our programs. We'd absolutely love to help you if we can in any way. But until then, guys, you've had some fantastic tips. I think y'all need to drop some fire for Jen. And like, really, guys, don't sleep on this shit. You've seen her transformation pictures. Like, this is the name of the game. Nutrition is it. And meal prep isn't hard. Don't overthink shit.
Exactly. And who's hungry now?
I don't know. I am. I gotta go. I gotta finish this pancake. I'm starved. All right, guys. Peace, love, and protein. We will see you again soon. And if you like this and you want more of it, let us know.